Oh, oh, I, the pure consciousness, or the self of self-awareness. I, the pure consciousness, or the sense of self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and would manifest the words of wisdom through this finite mind and through this finite body. Blessings to be on my listener, whether it's a herself or it's a himself. A couple of days ago, I received an inquiry in which the person A couple of days ago, I received an inquiry in which the person mentioned, this poor person, that they are finding it hard on letting go. I hope you are understanding. A couple of days ago, I received an inquiry in which the poor person mentioned they are finding it hard on letting go. They have been in this chaos for a long period of time. They are finding it hard on letting go of a status, letting go of the previous relationships, letting go of the memories which keep them restless, letting go of work, even though the circumstances are not going in the favor, letting go of the wish or the will of getting even, letting go of the past which is keeping them restless and creating a mental chaos in their mind or in their awareness. They are finding it they are finding it really hard to let go of all this that which I have mentioned. And they are asking if I can bring some clarity regarding that. To answer your inquiry and bringing clarity regarding that, first we need to understand why we find it hard to let go. No matter what that is, um, we basically are not interested in what it is that we are finding hard to let go. We are not interested in this moment in time that what it is that we are finding hard, to let go. But basically, why we are rather, we are interested rather that why are we finding it hard to let go? You see, we are not interested in that what it is that we are finding hard to let go. I hope you are following me. But rather, we are interested that why it is hard to let go of anything, why it is hard to let go of the memory, why it is hard to let go of the past, is why it is hard to let go of the previous relationships, why it is hard to let go of the memories and the past, which is keeping us restless. Why it is hard to let go? The reason it is hard to let go because we are totally fascinated with the three-dimensional reality. Remember, we talked about that. We are totally fascinated with the three-dimensional reality, which is a really narrow band. Remember, we talked about the narrow band, that which is a really narrow band, and we think this is it. That's what we think. That's why we are finding it hard to let go. We are totally fascinated by this three-dimensional reality because we do not know life in any other way. If you understand or you are following what I'm saying, we are totally fascinated by this three-dimensional reality. Excuse me, we are totally fascinated by this three-dimensional reality because we do not know life in any other way. It's not the limitation of life that we do not know life in any other way. It is the limitation of our very perception. I remember talking about that a while back, you see, on and off. But today, since you have asked the question, since you have made your inquiry, I'm bringing clarity and elaborating more. We are finding it hard to let go because we are totally fascinated with the three-dimensional reality, the reality of shape and form, the reality of the relationships, the reality of a family system, the reality of a society, the reality of money, and the reality of materialism and all the stuffs around us. We become fascinated. When we become because we don't know life in any other way. Most people do not remember, most people do not know life in any other way except the three-dimensional reality, most people, and they think this is it, and they have made an agreement with themselves, this is it, so they don't even bother to find out, so they don't even bother to explore, so they don't even bother to look into it, basically, because they become totally fascinated. They don't bother to extend their perception beyond the three-dimensional reality. Life giving birth, literally non-stop, and the very nature of life is the extension. If you become fascinated with the past, if you become fascinated with the memory, if you become fascinated with the personification of a person from the past, and you do not let go, then the room for something really beautiful, then the room for something really pretty. Are you following what I'm saying? Then the room for something really beautiful, then the room for something really pretty, which may happen along. Remember, watch my words. I'm not saying the future because I hesitate. I hesitate and I am reluctant to use the words future in my retreats or the messages I deliver. I'm saying down the line, if you don't let go of the things, the good memories or the bad memories, or the things which keep you restless, or the things or the relationship or the person that you have no control on, if you try to cling on it, you are stuck in your growth. Your growth makes you happy. You understand? When you are growing and you are going, when you are growing, when you are growing and you are going in accord with the nature, basically you are happy. But if you are stuck and you won't let go something from the past, some relationship that you thought really beautiful, but now for any reason, or but now for any number of reasons or circumstances, it's been taken away. Now you are not letting go of the memory of the very particular relationship or the person. There could be number of reasons, you see, but you are not letting go of it. You are stuck, unfortunately. The process, sadly and unfortunately, the process of your growth has stopped in this moment in time. You see, and it means that anything which may have been really pretty or really beautiful, anything which may anything which may have been really pretty or really beautiful down the line may not happen because the room for that to happen is not made yet, because you wouldn't let go. I hope you're following what I'm saying to you. As I said, and I have mentioned it before to you, as I have said and I have mentioned it before to you, if you remember, that each one of us has been given a certain, each one of us, please remember what I'm saying, each one of us has been given a certain space in the immensity of this cosmos. I hope you are following me what I'm saying. Each one of us has been given a certain space, a certain room in the immensity of the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? And it is limited as the manifestation of life. Life itself has no barriers. Life itself has no barriers, but the very manifestation of life, one of us has been each one of us has been given a limited space. The room is limited. So if you do not let go of the past, if you do not let go of the memory which keeps you restless, if you do not let go of the personification of a person, then the room down the line would not generate for something even much prettier. Life, the very nature of life, basically, it's all about explore. It's all about finding out something new. Life is not about being stuck. Basically, life is about to find out new things. Life is about all about to create room for new things. So we can explore newer and newer each moment, each time. And if we don't let go, then it means that we are stuck our process of growth, and we are not going in the accord with the very nature of life. If we are not going in the accord with the very nature of life, we become miserable in the process. Please remember that. If we are not going in accord with the very nature of life, we become miserable in the process. You see what I'm saying to you? And we do not make right choices. In order for us to be flourish, in order to for us to make the right choices, we must learn to go in accord with the very nature of life, which is your nature. Your nature is to let go. If you are stuck and you go against your nature, in the process you are miserable. And if you remain constantly miserable, unfortunately and sadly, that becomes the part of your tendency. And that is not a good thing. In yoga and meditation, we try to get rid of the negative tendencies. Being miserable is a negative tendency. So learn about your very fundamental nature, learn about the nature of life, and go in accord with the nature, or go in accord with the life, and you would remain very peaceful. You would have a sense of fulfillment all the time. You see, letting go of what has happened before, letting go on which we have no control on, letting go on something that we cannot change or we cannot amend, is our very nature. If you understand what I'm saying, letting go of the past, letting go of the memories which keep us restless, is our very nature. So we must learn basically to practice our very nature. I would give you an example. The very fundamental nature of yourself is that you cannot hold on to even a thought for more than a few seconds. You understand? I'm trying to make you understand through your very fundamental nature. If you know what I mean, I'm trying to make you understand through your very fundamental code. Because if you walk just like along with your very code, you would remain very peaceful and very fulfilled. And after certain period of time, after some period of time, it would become the part of your tendency, if you understand what I'm saying to you, which is a great thing. You cannot even hold on to a thought more than a few seconds. Try, take a thought. It doesn't matter what kind of thought it is, if it is a good thought, if it is a bad thought, if it is a pleasant thought, if it is a happy thought, if it is a horny thought, whatever the thought is. I'm just saying we are not interested in the content of the thought. I am giving you the liberty basically to take a thought in your mind, and it could be any thought, a good thought, bad thought. The content of thought, as I mentioned, because these are all thoughts, is not necessary or is not important. But if you take a thought and you try to cling on that thought constantly, it means that you do not lose even the thought, not even for a second, or not even for a millisecond. If you understand what I'm saying to you, when I ask you to take a thought and try to cling on the thought, it means I don't want you to lose the thought, not even for a second or even a nanosecond. Just try to cling on it. It means that there is no other thought must be around it. If you understand what I'm saying, it means that there must not a single other thought in the same time when you are trying to holding on one thought. You see, one. So if you are trying to hold on to one thought, it means I don't want you to accommodate another thought consecutively or in the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Try to cling on the thought and do not even lose it for a nanosecond. Let's see how far you can go, or let's see how far you can hold the thought. Has it been made clear to you that the very nature of yourself is to let go? You cannot even cling to one thought, and one thought solely, more than a few seconds. I wouldn't even go and call it as far as moments. I am saying more than a few seconds, you cannot cling on one thought. Okay. Now, the second point I would make basically, you see, the very process. When you are inhaling, You see, you are breathing all the time. When you are inhaling, the air is going in, or the life, in other words, is going in. I wouldn't call it oxygen or carbon dioxide, because because that's not how a mystic thinks, or a mystic perceives life. If you understand what I'm saying, I wouldn't even call it that I am inhaling oxygen or carbon dioxide, because remember, or oxygen in inhaling, exhaling carbon dioxide. No, I wouldn't even call it, because remember, human existed long time ago before they even came up with the words of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Were you not breathing when before you came with the words of oxygen or carbon dioxide? You know the answer as well as I do. So what I'm saying to you, you are inhaling life, you are exhaling life. You see, you again, the very nature of you to let go, the very life you are inhaling, the very life you are letting go. You see the movement? The movement is basically the life is right here. You are inhaling, and then you are exhaling life. You see that you are letting go of the life, and it is a constant process. This process is not going to stop, because we know if this process stops, every process that we relate to around us would stop, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is your very fundamental nature to let go. You let in, you let the life in this accumulation, and then you let the life go. This is a constant process. This process basically is happening every moment. You see, every moment. This is your very fundamental nature. I want you to comprehend that. I want you to understand that every moment you are letting go. You see, every moment you are letting go, and nobody has even taught you this way. You are born this way. Your accumulation has an intelligence. Excuse me. Your accumulation has an intelligence system of its own. If you understand what I'm saying, your accumulation has an intelligence system of its own. And that intelligence system, you didn't have to go to a school, or you didn't have to take courses, or you didn't have to undertake any type of education or qualification in order to breathe. Just by being, you are breathing, you see. So, and it, the point I'm trying to make, it is so natural that just by being, you are breathing. Nobody has taught you how to breathe. You know how to breathe. You understand? I hope you are getting my point. Nobody has taught you how to breathe. You, just by being, you are breathing. And in the very process of breathing, if you understand what I'm saying to you, in the very process of breathing, you are letting go. Every moment you are letting go, without anybody having to force you to let go, without anybody having to give you any type of knowledge or education that how to let go. You are letting go. What could be so? What could be? What could be more? What could be much closer than this example? You see, it's ingrained in you to let go. It's so fundamental. It's ingrained in you to let go. When you try to stick on a memory, when you try to stick on a relationship, a personification of a person from the past, it means that you are going against your very nature. Anytime when you are going against your very nature, anytime when you are going against of the nature of life, basically, if you understand what I'm saying, anytime if you are going against the nature of the very life, you would remain miserable, unfortunately, in the process, you see. But if you learn to let go, if you learn to go in accord with the nature, then you would become very fulfilled, then you would become really joyful in the process. Remember, If you remember the word remember, you see, if you remember the word remember, and I have told you that it's not in the destination as far as my understanding of the matter is, it's not about the destination, it's all about the journey. You see, because there is no destination. When you look at life through the perspective of mind, you think there may be something as destination. Two examples through you, two examples with the very fundamental of your mechanics means how you work I gave you, and I made it clear and I elaborated that letting go is your very nature. Number third is I would give you another example and then we'll sum it up because time to conduct a private meditation session is getting very close. Okay. Number third is when you lay down in the night after you finish your day after numerous hours, when you lay down in the night and you are so tired, basically, when you lay down in the night and you are so tired after numerous hours, and what happens is basically you are tired of everything. You have accumulated tons and tons of data through your five senses, which are all outbound, by the way. You have accumulated tons and tons of data in your awareness. And when you get so tired, when you are shattered, which is rather a British term, shattered, when you are shattered, you, without anyone having to force you, without anyone having to push you, without anyone having, without anyone giving you the wisdom about it, giving you the clarity about it, giving you any type of education about it, you just let go. And what happens is you fall asleep. So, what do you think sleep is? Or what do you think falling asleep is? Falling asleep meaning you are letting go. And the intention of letting go basically is very subtle. The intention of letting go basically is very profound. The intention of letting go is very subtle. You see, it is ingrained in you. Nobody teaches you how to sleep. As I mentioned about the breathing, now I am mentioning about the sleep. Nobody on the face of this planet teaches you how to sleep or how to fall asleep. Falling asleep is such a naturally, it's such a fundamental Falling asleep is such a fundamental process. Falling asleep is such a natural process. One doesn't have to go to a school or acquire some type of a skill or education in order to fall asleep. Falling asleep is a very fundamental process of you every night when you willingly let go. Nobody comes around and condone you to sleep. Nobody comes around and pushes you to sleep. Nobody comes around to teach you how to sleep. Nobody does that. The intention which is ingrained in your very nature is so subtle that you don't even give it a second thought and you just let it go, if you understand what I'm saying to you. You don't even give it a second thought. You don't even give it a second thought, and the intention basically is so subtle that you just automatically let go. You don't give a second thought. You are tired. You let go of everything. You let go of the relationships. That moment in time when you are falling asleep, you willingly, without any force from outside, the moment in time when you are falling asleep, you let go of everything. You let go of the entire three-dimensional reality. You let go of the entire world, that moment, the very moment in time, and you let go willingly. Nobody teaches you that. You just let go. So I have brought clarity, or I have brought clarity, or I have elaborated to you through three major fundamental examples of from your own very nature. I would repeat, I have elaborated and I have brought clarity through three major and very fundamental process of nature which has been ingrained to you, and I have proved you letting go is your very nature. If you go in accord with your very nature, you remain pleasant and fulfilled. If you go against it, you remain miserable. How you want to handle it is solely your choice, if you understand what I'm saying to you. So I have brought some clarity that why it is good to let go, why it is not to struggle. You see, let go of the bad memories. Let go of the things from the past which keeps you restless. Let go of some relationship or somebody who was not meant to be yours. You see, there are bigger scheme of things. Nature has the upper hand. Nature has the full intelligence, and there are bigger scheme of things basically which are happening. Through the perspective of our mind, we find it very difficult to let go, but through the perspective of bigger scheme of things which have the upper hand, letting go may be the only option in the end. So you better learn to let go through the wisdom and through the truth and the words of wisdom, or the circumstances around you would be generating, the circumstances around you would be generated by the cosmos and by the nature, and it would bring you down to your knees, and it would teach you in that particular moment in time the how to let go. Either way, nature and the cosmos has the upper hand. It's your choice basically that you open yourself to the possibility of letting go. And I have proved you, elaborated through three different simple process from your own very nature. You see, I couldn't be more clear about the message that letting go is our fundamental nature. When we go in accord with our fundamental nature, we are very happy and playful and joyful. However, if we try to resist our and go against our fundamental nature, we become miserable and we are stuck. So it's better for us to initiate our growth and learn the process, the very nature of ourselves of letting go through the words of wisdom, through our dedication to Kriya Yoga and meditation, and through wisdom. You see, otherwise, as I said, nature and cosmos has the upper hand. So the circumstances around us would be generated, and we wouldn't even realize what's happening, and it would teach us. And that process may not be very pleasant, you see. So the choice in the end is ours. The choices we make, those choices make us people. Please remember that. If you have any questions, even if you have any confusion, if you misunderstood something what I said, it is very possible for people to misunderstand things that what I say. Because remember something, what I say basically, I the intention of me saying something may entirely, if you understand what I'm saying to you, the intention of me saying something may entirely be very different from from your perception. When you are hearing the words of truth and wisdom, and I know it for a fact that for the most part your perception is becoming clearer and clearer every time you hear the words of truth and wisdom, but yet it goes through everything that you have learned. If you understand what I'm saying to you, when still when you hear the words, when you hear the words of truth and wisdom, it goes through everything that what you have learned, which is nothing but your knowledge. So when you hear something, not only the words of truth and wisdom, but anything, when you hear something, it goes through the entire uh, premise of the knowledge that you have gathered. So the person who said something, the intention of the person matters, because that's the only truth the person knows. When a person hear that something, the person knows it through. Remember what I'm saying. Please read my lips. The person knows through everything what they know, through their knowledge. So that's why I always tell you, when you hear that words of truth and wisdom, and if there is something which is confusing you, if there is something that you if there is something that you misunderstood, if there is something which is confusing you, or if you want to clarify more, basically, if you want to clarify about another thing, about another topic, please write me. I always and always encourage you to write me, and I would bring more clarity. If you have any confusions, if you have any concerns, please write me. My services are here for you, and my services are free for the humankind. Because I understand you humans try to cling with money. I understand you humans have given too much weight to money and the materialism, the matter. I understand that your fondness, I understand your bond, I understand your band with the money and with the commodities of luxury is very strong. So I don't see a point, basically, from I don't see a point to provide you services in the greed of something. Some of us, remember something, some of us have transcended ourselves from these small petty things such as money and the commodities of luxury. Some of us have transcended ourselves from these small things. Please remember that. But some of us are still struggling. Some of us basically have graduated from the kindergarten, if you know what I'm saying. Some of us basically have graduated from the kindergarten, and now some of us want to move to the high school or the university, you see. But some of us, unfortunately, are still stuck. You know the reason why they are stuck? Because they are finding it hard to let go. That's why they are stuck. I still have I still have maybe a few minutes. So let's I still have maybe a few minutes. So let's meditate.